Hello my dear friends and welcome to my channel. My name is Barbara and today we're going to be looking at the first house. So super excited to be getting into the first house. The first house is ruled by the sign of Aries and by the planet Mars. So if you have a lot of this first house energy in your chart, this particular lifetime is all about you. It's all about the self. It's all about figuring out who you are and what your true identity is. If you have a lot of first house energy in your chart, you probably incarnated here again for that reason, because in a past life, there probably was something that was in the way of you doing whatever it is that you wanted to do. You could have had responsibilities, it could have been distractions, it could have been XYZ. That's why on a soul level, your soul chose a lot of this first house energy so you could focus on yourself in this particular lifetime. And basically, until this first house achieves what it is that they're looking to achieve, there's certain things that they're going to put on hold, okay? Because they're always going to be putting themselves first. Now, for some people, the external person, this may come off egotistical and selfish, but that's really what the first house is here to do. It's all about the self. It's all about figuring out who you are, why you came here, and what it is that you like to do. You might not be thinking this deeply or philosophically, okay? It's not like, for example, like Scorpio and Sag, where they sit down and they really think about the metaphysical reasoning and why am I here? They don't ask themselves these questions. They just go for things, okay? That's the first house. And through starting these things, okay, a lot of these, interests that they may have, they're going to discover more and more about themselves and their identity. And that's why it might seem to them that there's certain other things, okay, that they don't really prioritize and they might happen for them later in life, okay, because of the fact that they come first, okay? So with the Aries energy, I love the Aries energy. They're very much about go-getting, okay? It's all about, I'm going to go do that thing. I'm going to be the first one to do it, even if they're not ready, okay? This is the beautiful thing about Aries energy is they're not the type of sign who's going to sit around and be like, should I do it? Should I not do it? I'm not going to do it for this reason. Okay, this, they're not that type. They're going to just go for it. If there's something that they want to do, they're going to go for it, okay? They have this natural, it's the fiery energy and it's the masculine energy, and Mars is the god of war, okay? So they're very much go-getter. It's very much warrior energy. It's very much a warrior spirit, okay? So sometimes you might even notice that Aries tends to be argumentative, okay? They do get this rap that they're going to argue, but this is because of the fact, again, it's that first house. They want to be right, okay? So they're basically going to do whatever they can to prove that they're right. And not only this, they want to show that they're the best, okay? So whatever way that manifests, whether that's in their job, whether that's in their friendships, whether that's in their relationship, whether that is in an argument, okay? They're always going to want to show why they're the best, okay? And this is, again, it's that first house, because the first house energy, if you have a lot of it in your chart, really is here to separate itself from the crowd, okay? Aries is always going to be like, I'm the one who started that. I'm the one who did it first. They're not going to be consciously thinking of this, okay? This is more so on a soul level. Aries does not think that deeply, like I mentioned earlier. They're just going to be doing things, and this is the beauty with this energy. Sometimes they might come off as impulsive, okay? They might do things, like I said, before they're ready, and that might be, again, to their downfall, but it never is, because everything that they're doing, okay, is kind of like a kid learning to walk, is really the energy I find, especially up until the Saturn return, especially if the Aries energy is able to express itself in its full form, okay? It is going to stumble through a lot of experiences until it solidifies itself. And if it is able to flow freely, by the time you get to your Saturn return, which is usually 27, 28, 29, when your planets start to shift, okay, into the secondary progressions, you're going to have a strong sense of self, know who you are, and know what it is that you're here to do and what you want to do, okay? So this could manifest different for different people, and then different things are going to start flowing into your life. Those things that maybe you put on the back burner, you said that I'm not interested in doing them right now, I'm going to do them later. After you've solidified the self, then those things are going to start to come through for you, okay? So this is going to be different for different people, but because of the fact that the first house is really all about the self and all about being the first and being the best, you're probably going to be the first one in your family line to do something different, okay? So let's say your family is a line of cooks, maybe there's been a family business of some sort where you guys were all restaurant owners or chefs or whatever, right? Let's say there's something that's a theme in your family line. You're going to be the first one who does something different, okay? Maybe you're going to go off and become a lawyer. Maybe you're going to go off and become a stand-up comedian. Whatever it is, okay, you're always going to want to separate yourself from the crowd. This is the main thing to understand with the first house Aries energy. They're always looking for their identity and they're always looking to be different. So let's say there's something that they did start, and then now there's a group of people who start to join in on what they started. They're gonna be like, no, I did this first. I don't want to do that anymore because it's becoming too much of a trend, okay? They want to be different. They want to separate themselves. So let's say this can manifest in a job, okay? So you are all in the same position. You become really good at what you do. You excel at it, again, showing that you're the best. and now it's time for you to become maybe the manager. Okay, now you are managing other people. It's very much about leadership. Okay, this is really what the first house is all about. So you're probably naturally going to be interested in leadership positions where you're leading other people, anything that's basically going to put you above other people. And this isn't really in like you're full of yourself and you know you're superior to other people. You're just naturally have that in your energy where you just set yourself apart from the crowd. You become really good at whatever you do. So like I said, if it's at a job, you become really good at that job, and then you become the manager. Okay, and then maybe you become really good at that, and then you keep climbing, right? Or it can manifest as entrepreneurship. Okay, a lot of the time first house energy tend to be really good entrepreneurs. Okay, they tend to be really good at, you know, again, starting a business, starting something. This is really the first house energy. It's all about starting, it's all about pushing forward, it's all about the forward momentum. Okay, this is really what Aries is here to do. Aries is here again through this starting things. They're meant to form their identity so they have a solidified sense of self. Okay, this is really what's important to Aries. So you know, if there's something that's going to compromise their sense of self in any way, shape, or form, they're going to ditch that. Okay, they're going to be like, no, you're not in alignment with this. Okay, let's say it's a friend or whatever it is, you're gonna be like, no, like this is stunting my growth, I need to do this. They might do this without even realizing. Okay, it might just naturally happen where it's like, I'm gonna go do this. Like I said, they might come off selfish and egotistical, but it's not really that. It's just that they're meant to learn who they are. This is really what it is. The first house is here to learn all about who they are, what they came here to do, and really focusing on that and being the best at it. Okay, and probably, you know, let's say there's an Aries who, or first house, if you have a lot of first house energy in your chart, and let's say there's something that you were interested, even 1%, someone comes through and they're like, hey, I want to do that thing. Aries is going to be the first one to do it. Okay, they're going to be like, I want to be that person. I want to be better than that person, without even, it's not even like they're consciously doing it. It's just, again, it ignites the fire within Aries. Okay, Aries always wants to be the first and they want to be the best. This is the main thing to keep in mind. Like I said, they want to win every argument. They're always going to want to win. Okay, this is really the Aries energy. It can manifest so many different ways. It can manifest even in being an athlete. Okay, they want to win. They have that warrior mentality, and they're basically, like I said, sometimes they're going to do whatever it takes to win. Okay, so, you know, like I was saying, let's say this person comes along and says, hey, I want to do this. Again, Aries is basically going to be like, well, I'm going to do it better. Okay, this is the energy with the Aries. And again, after they kind of master that and learn that, again, depending on the length of time, maybe it's going to be something they do for a longer period of time. Although I find Aries to be very in, out, in, out, in, out. They do it, they conquer it, they become the best at it, and then they kind of move on to the next thing that they're going to become the best at. I'm actually getting a visual of the show Friends, and I don't know if any of you remember, but there was that billionaire that Monica dated, and you know, he achieved all these things and then he wanted to be the world's top wrestling champion or whatever it was. I can't remember exactly, but that's very much Aries energy. Okay, Aries energy does manifest that way, where it's like, okay, I've conquered this, I've become the best at it, now I want to become the best at the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. Okay, or they could just stay on top in whatever it is that they're doing, maybe for their whole life. Again, maybe they started their own very unique business that they're the only ones that they can offer, right? And they do that for a longer period of time. Any form of competition comes through, they're going to separate themselves from the crowd. For Aries, competition is very good, it's very healthy, it pushes them forward, and they're going to naturally create this for themselves. Okay, they're going to create this friction energy. It's the fire. Okay, it's the fire sign within, and that's what keeps them going. Okay, it's really what that is. It's the god of war. This is really what Mars is. And something important to keep in mind when you're dealing with the Aries energy is that, again, they're always going to be in that warrior spirit. It's always about propelling themselves forward. They're not very much about, you know, just laying down, hanging out, doing nothing. They're always going to be doing something. Okay, it's all about forward action, moving forward, and whatever way, shape, or form that looks like for them. Okay, this is really the Aries energy. And you know, if you know someone who has a lot of this first house energy in their chart, don't be offended. Okay, if you do get left behind in one way, shape, or form, or if they're too busy focusing on themselves to focus on you, you know, it's not like they're doing it intentionally. It's just, again, this is really what the Aries energy is. They're meant to be doing. Okay, they're meant to be focusing on themselves, they're meant to be propelling forward, they're meant to be pushing forward, they're meant to be, again, becoming the best. Okay, this is really the main thing. Because of the first house of the zodiac and the first sign, okay, some people might say they come off as immature or childish. You know, it's not really that it's this, it's just literally, it's that visual that I was telling you guys earlier. They're basically going to stumbling, okay, like they're going to be stumbling like a kid who's learning to walk until they basically solidify themselves and they're like, okay, this is what I'm doing. So it's like, you know, unbalanced Aries energy is, you know, in, out, impulsive. Okay, sometimes they can come off even indecisive. This is because they bounce off of Libra sometimes. Okay, but a lot of the time they have something in their mind, they're going to do it, they're going to focus on it, and they're always going to show why they're the best. And you know, even if they didn't really want it to begin with, and like I said, someone comes through and says, hey, I'm interested in that, they're gonna still be like, I'm the best. Okay, so this is really the first house. Okay, it's really all about the self, figuring out who they are. And once they've got this sort of, you know, energy of I'm comfortable within myself, okay, that's when other things can start to come through for them, or they can even look at other things, okay, that maybe they didn't prioritize before. But up until that point, everything for them is about the self, okay, and that's just what their soul incarnated here to do. Is, you know, that energy of how bad you want to do something. Okay, obviously, you know, as long as you're doing it safely, but this is really the energy. It's a good energy because it's like you are a go-getter. You're going after things, okay? As long as it's healthy. That's the word that I'm looking for. As long as it's in the healthy energy. If you fall into the shadow aspects of Aries, again, it could be overly competitive. It could do whatever, okay? Literally, like, it could even do like bad things to get things that they want. And, you know, again, those are shadow aspects, and we all have these aspects within us, whether they're shadow or light. So it's really important to just balance them, okay, and balance them. And if the Aries energy first house is really applied correctly, okay, like I said, they're going to be they're going to be really good at what they do, and they're going to be the best at whatever it is that they do, as long as they're, you know, really channeling that energy in a positive way, okay, in a positive way. And in a way that, again, it's not just like fully literally in the shadow aspect of just being egocentric and self-centered, but this is really what it is. Okay, so this is really what the first house is all about. It's all about the self. It's all about figuring out who you are. It's all about, you know, putting your foot forward, going after things, leaving things behind. Okay, you know, it's not like it's a water sign, okay, it's a fire sign. So that being said, you know, they're not going to be like too focused on like the emotional aspect of things. They're just like, they're going to be the type that's like, get over it, move on, okay, we're moving on, we're moving forward. This is really what it is, okay? And they are the first house, okay? They are the first house. So there's going to be a lot of trials and tribulations that probably take place for them until they ground and solidify that energy, okay? So this can manifest differently depending on where you have this first house energy in your charts, okay? It really depends where you have it. Something what's interesting is if you have moon in the first house, you could actually be really psychic, okay? You could also be really psychic if you have moon in the first house. So it really depends where you have it. But, you know, stellium is 3 or more planets, okay? So if you have 3 or more planets in the first house, again, you're probably going to be operating more as an Aries compared to what the rest of your chart is, because of the fact that, again, you have this focus on the first house. The first house is really all about the self. It's all about who you are, what you're meant here to do, and these sorts of things. And it gets grounded. If after it gets grounded and you have laid a solid foundation for yourself, you're going to be able to maybe focus on other things. But up until you get there, you know, you're not really going to care. Okay, this is really the first house energy. They're not going to focus on anything else. They're really going to be focusing on whatever it is that they want to get. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap up this video there. I hope you did enjoy this video on the first house. If you did, please do like, share, and subscribe, and I hope you all have a beautiful rest of the day.